Hello, welcome to the stream. Welcome to yet another live late at night because it's the only time I get any time to do anything. So, how you all doing? If you are watching on the replay, my name's Lee Everett. I'm an estate agent. I've been doing this for nearly 18 years in Essex, dealt with thousands of buyers, sellers, transactions, all those sorts of things. So, you're in the right place. If you do have any questions that you have about buying or selling, so feel free to either drop me a message, leave it in the comment section. Right in the comment section. Really nice to hear from you guys. And as always, this stream is nothing without you asking questions and getting in touch. Otherwise, it's just me sitting here on my own talking to a camera, which I do enough in the car, as you've seen from my other videos. So here I am. Any questions, please put them in the comment section. I'll put them up on the screen so everybody else can see them. Still getting used to this whole StreamYard thing, how to use it and stuff like that. If you're watching, don't forget to give the video a thumbs up as well, because that tells YouTube that you're enjoying what you're seeing. Even if you're not, just give us a thumbs up because it helps me. Just do me a favor. That'd be lovely. Really nice. So I've had a day off work today. It's been a crap day actually. It's rained after being really lovely yesterday. Tried to fix the other half's car window drop down, which I'm a desk man. I don't do manual labour, and so I've been trying to fix that and it hasn't worked. So I've got to go to the garage. But you're not here to hear about me and my rubbish days off. We're gonna just wait a few more minutes, see if anybody else turns up. But if you are watching this on the replay, do hit the subscribe button and the bell, because I'm not sure when I'm going to be able to do these lives, and I get quite a few comments and messages to say, oh, sorry, they missed the live. I can't really give much notice as to when I can do these. It's just a case of as and when, but I do love doing them. I really do love doing them, and I hope we get as many people on here that we can sort of chat, interact with, and get through as many questions as possible, because your question might help somebody else who's going to watch this on the replay. So anyone who is watching, drop in a comment. Otherwise, again, it's just me chatting to the camera again. And if you are watching on the replay, you may want to skip the first 5 minutes, because generally I don't get many people in the first 5 minutes, and it's just me doing this for a little while until either my brother or my dad pops up to write a comment, like a sympathy comment. So feel free to just scrub past this bit and come back a little bit later on. We've got one person viewing, which is probably me. Just making sure it's working. How sad is that? How sad is that? So come on, guys. Come on. Need to get some people on here so we can ask some questions. If nobody comes, I'm just going to have to delete it. Otherwise, it's a bit embarrassing, isn't it? That I've gone to all this effort. You should see the amount of wires I've got going on here, right? There's microphone plugged in, camera coming from that to the laptop. There's another lead going from the camera to the laptop, plugging. Oh, there's shitloads going on. It takes me about 15-20 minutes to set this up. So if somebody could come along, that'd be great. Please. Dearie me. This is rubbish, guys. This is rubbish. I've really got to give you some more notice, haven't I? I'm gonna have to put a pinned comment to skip to whenever somebody actually joins and starts asking questions. So really wish you could edit these. Really wish you could edit. Unfortunately, you can't. I should really probably structure these a bit better. But again, as I don't have a lot of time outside of work or at work to plan these sort of things, it's very ad hoc, very talk about what's on my mind, talk about the property market. And I suppose that's what I'll probably do now as a bit of a filler until somebody joins in. Come up to 5 minutes now and still nobody's here. Right, yeah, so let's talk. My last video was about surveys, and it was a bit of a rush video. Somebody had messaged me on Instagram, ISO Dingy. Great username. So they asked if they should get a survey done on a flat, like a home buyer survey done on the flat, or just to rely on the bank's valuation. And I think my advice in that video would have been, when buying a flat, would be, if buildings insurance is included in your property, And it's one of those things which, when you survey a house, you own the whole house generally. So when the surveyor goes in there, they're looking at everything that you own. But when you have a flat, the surveyor can't go into all the building, can't go into the whole house or the whole property. So it's not going to get a whole picture of the flat that you're buying if you get it surveyed. It's only going to do that little bit that you're going to run out of the whole building. So a full structural survey or home buyers on a flat probably isn't advised. I say the freeholder and the management company are probably going to be in charge of maintaining the building and looking after any structural bits and pieces. So yeah, and here's my dad. He's popped up. He's popped up. When does a dispute with a neighbour become something you have to declare when selling? When you call the police, Dad. When you call the police. So I hear it didn't come to that. Yeah, I got filled in on your shenanigans this afternoon. So yeah, don't do anything to to get the police involved. Otherwise, that's when you have to declare it. Hopefully, it won't come to that, mate. Hi, Giz. How you doing? Hi, Lee. Took your advice from the last live. I've got myself a better rate from the same lender. Was at 3.6. I've got myself a 3.35 fixed rate. Thank you. Fantastic, mate. Fantastic. Oh, great news. Great news. That should be a few extra quid in your pocket at the end of the day, shouldn't it? Oh, fantastic. And although it doesn't sound a lot, that sort of 2.5% that you're saving over 2, 3, 4 years, or if you keep that rate, do you know what I mean? That's thousands and thousands of pounds, which this is where a broker can save you so much money. Yes, you might have to pay him a few £100s up front, but when you compare that to over the length of a mortgage or the length of your fixed term, whether it's 2, 5 or 10 if you go with Nationwide, then it can save you so much money, so much money. So definitely worth doing. So Gears, well done, excellent. Not yet one of us was told to back down. I bet that was hard, Dad, wasn't it? But that was hard. Has he took it down yet? Has he took the spikes down? That'd be interesting to know. Right, so my dad, he ain't going to mind me sharing this. He don't care. He bought a new build house 2 years ago. I've mentioned it on here a couple of times. And his next door neighbour has put some spikes to deter birds on my dad's fence. And they're like this big. It looks like you're in Colditz or something like that, which is a World War II prisoner of war camp, if you don't know what Colditz is. So he's got these spikes on the fence. My dad loves birds. He's got a bird feeder table all there ready to to feed the birds, and his geezer just gone to put spikes on there. So my dad went and knocked on his door, had a little chat with him, and the geezer thought that he didn't need to ask my dad's permission to drill stuff into his fence, which is completely wrong. So yeah, just don't call the police, Dad. Don't get the police involved, and I won't have to declare it if and when you sell. So Giz, excellent. Save £24 a month. It's not bad, is it? £1,500 over the 5 years. A lot of money. And what you could do is you could overpay your mortgage, get some more equity down. There's an idea for you. Sorry, Dad. Good thing nobody's watching this. Yeah, Giz, if you do have a bit of extra cash, overpaying your mortgage, you get a bit more of a equity. So after those 5 years, you've got an extra £1,500 plus an actual house price growth in there as well. So when you come to remortgage, you have more equity in there. So certainly worth doing. Okay, I'll delete that bit from the stream, Dad. I can't. So Giz, what broker is that for? Sorry, what lender is that for, Giz? Or Giz? What bank did you go through? Share with people. Did you go direct or did you go through a lender? That'd be good to know. Literally just asking the question or having a little bit more research, doing a bit more sort of looking around, asking for advice from me or from a mortgage broker can save you a lot of money. Which one mortgage was that a month? Anybody else got any questions at all? Anybody else? What are you buying, Giz? You buying a house, flat? Let's get some engagement going. Let's get some engagement. Santander, that's my bank actually. Decent bank. And was that direct to Santander, or did you go for a broker? I know most buyers tend to go for a broker, but some, if they bank with a certain bank, that'll be their first lender they go to see if they'll lend them money and how much and stuff like that. So, but it's always worth shopping around. Always worth shopping around. What's the worst that can happen? You shop around without a broker. Look, you've listened to my advice once. A second time, I would advise you to speak to a broker, because although Santander are a great bank, in my opinion, because I use them myself, although my mortgage is with NatWest rather than Santander, they may not be offering the best rate. You may have done your own research, which is great, but if there is one lender that you haven't heard of, I mean, there's so many that I didn't even know existed until I got into this business, and the amount of lenders is growing all the time, and the amount of products as well. So it might certainly be worth, excuse me, getting a sore throat, might certainly be worth speaking to a broker, a fully independent broker. I could put you in touch with one if you want, but okay. Had a broker before, but both flats fell through, so done this one on my own. Okay, so did they find you the product first? One of the first two houses you was buying through, and then they went wrong, so kept with the same lender and just saw there's a better rate. Not a bad idea. Mortgage brokers don't like that generally, that you speak to a broker and then go with a different and use a product that they've recommended and go privately. But if you weren't happy with their service, then yeah, it's entirely up to you. Entirely up to you. A beer, welcome to the stream. Welcome back. I think you was here the last one, wasn't you? Well, you commented on the last one, so thanks for stopping by. Okay, yeah. So certain lenders won't lend on certain constructions, and if Santander do lend on concrete built properties, then fantastic. But so there are a lot of lenders out there. There's probably more than one that lend on it, but if you're going for a high street, that's probably going to be a better rate, in my opinion. Not my advice. I'm not allowed to advise. I'm not a mortgage broker. But if a high street's offering you that, then that's probably a decent rate. So well done for saving that £25-26 a month by having a shop around. You're very good at helping us. Abiv, thank you. It's always nice to hear some thanks. So I don't get anything for doing this. It's purely, I like doing it. It's part of the job when I'm selling houses. I like helping people buy. For me, it's more the fun bit. And I was saying this to somebody in a little chat I was having online, that the pleasure I get in my job is helping people buy rather than helping the sellers, which I know sounds like counterproductive because I'm paid by the seller, but it's always nice to feel like you're helping, especially a first-time buyer who's never done it before, sort of get that first step and get their first house. So thank you very much for joining. You was here last time. I'm from Scotland. Nice one. Never been that north. Been to the Lake District. Went for 2 days. Took 6 hours to drive there over one night. It absolutely pissed down. The lakes were flooded. Other half have got a coat as well. So pretty much spent most of the day in a pub. Back to the hotel. Slept and then drove home for another 6 hours. So yeah, it's as close as I've got to Scotland. With NatWest and Accord with my broker. Yeah, so NatWest, obviously high street. Accord, I think they only deal with brokers. I think their products, might be just via a mortgage broker. So you obviously went to a fully independent, I'm guessing, to get that. Can't offer you cash, Lee, but have to give you some boxing lessons if you're ever around Battersea area. I don't think these guns would intimidate anybody, but I appreciate it. Yeah, I don't think this would scare many people, do you? I don't have the discipline either. I don't think I could, box, get that fit. I've done a couple of half marathons, but that was before furlough. So I'm carrying a bit of furlough weight still. Against Brilliant. Joe from Cyprus. Hello, Joe. How you doing? I don't think I've recognised your name, so thank you very much for dropping by. Got any questions about buying in England? I can't help. In Cyprus, I've seen a few of Homes in the Sun, I think it's called, on BBC, but they don't cover the transactional process, unfortunately, so I can't help with that. But if you're interested in boxing and in Battersea, Giz can help you out. I'm sure you could offer me cash if you really wanted to, but I'm joking. You ain't got to. Oh, you live in the UK? Excellent. You say 20 grand. Okay. So what you would need to do, Gio, is speak to a mortgage broker or your bank at first if you want to. Find out what your affordability is. So a key thing is going to be how much you earn and what your current expenditures are, your financial commitments are, because that comes off of what you can actually borrow. So £20,000 in theory is a 20% deposit on a £100,000 house. But if you live in an area where £100,000 isn't going to buy you anything, then you may have to sort of go up. If you can afford a £200,000 mortgage, then obviously you've got a 10% deposit, which means you're going to get a lot of potential lenders that are willing to lend to you. But yeah, you really need to speak to a broker. If you want to speak to a broker, Gio, I've got one. Email me or pop your email address in the comments section if you don't mind that. If not, email me at leeeverettpropertyadvice@gmail.com. And what I'll do is I'll take some contact details from you and I'll put you guys in touch. Completely free chat. We'll go through things with you, what you can or can't do, what's possible, what's not possible. And then hopefully he might be able to help you out. But if not, nothing ventured, nothing gained. Whereabouts do you live? Because that's really going to affect what you can buy, isn't it? Depending on where you live. Just currently inside. Oh, okay. Blimey. So what's the time over there? What's the weather like? Bit jealous. So where's home in England? Where is home in England? Are you able to get back, actually? With all the rules and whatnot? Have you got a quarantine for 10 days when you come back? Do a test and all that stuff, all these new rules. Hard to keep up with everything. Crawley. Crawley, by the way, investing up north. One of my close friends done this a couple of years ago. He had, I think, 50 or 60 grand. He wanted to invest, and he bought, that was cash. He bought a 2-up-2 down in Liverpool with a sitting tenant. It worked out okay for him. He bought that at auction, I think. But yeah, be careful if you've not been up there. So he knew Liverpool a little bit. His brother was up there. He knew the rules. Like certain councils, like Liverpool, you've got to have a special license to be a landlord. If you don't have that license, you can't evict tenants, which is something which he had to go through. The sitting tenant, he wanted to evict because they weren't paying rent, but because he didn't have a landlord license, he couldn't evict the tenant. And in order to get a landlord license, they needed to go in and prove that the property was fit and proper and had fire alarms and stuff like that, but the tenant wouldn't let him in to fit fire alarms. So you had to pay him off in the end to move out. So be very careful when you are buying up north. There's a lot of, well, anywhere really, there's so many sort of different councils have different rules, different licenses, and what you can or can't do, and your sort of liabilities for that. But do you want to waste your stamp duty exemption if you are a first-time buyer on an investment property, especially if it's going to be probably a cheaper of the two purchases? If you can get a 2-up-2 down in Liverpool, no, you're welcome. I mean, yeah, so they're about £60,000-70,000 they were a year and a half ago. So if they've gone up £20,000, it's probably going to be enough for an £80,000 house if you're going to get a buy-to-let. Obviously, if you're going to be renting the property out, you're going to need to get a buy-to-let rather than a residential mortgage. So, but yeah, if you buy your buy-to-let as your first purchase, you're going to lose that first-time buyer stamp duty exemption. So I think you're probably much better in buying your residential house first, getting that stamp duty saving. And a lot of lenders won't actually give somebody who's not owned a house before a buy-to-let mortgage. There are 2 or 3, but you've got to be a certain age, on a certain amount of money, and have 25% deposit, I think it is. So yeah, speak to a broker about that. I think Virgin are ones that Virgin Money that offer a buy-to-let mortgage for people that haven't owned a property before. So it's a little bit more difficult, and the rates are probably higher and more hoops to jump through. But it's certainly possible. But I would consider maybe buying your first property first, maybe get a deal, then in 2-3 years' time, try and take some money out, and then buy your property up north. That'd be my advice. But obviously, your money, you know what you want to do with it. Yeah, so he had to pay off the tenant to move out, and he was lucky enough that the property went up, I think, £70,000-80,000. So he had another £20,000-30,000 instant equity, which he pulled out and looking to buy another one. So if you time it right and get the right property, you could be absolutely good. Yeah, so going back to surveys on flats, yeah, I don't think it's worth paying for a home buyer survey on a flat unless it's really old and there's some real structural things which are pretty noticeable. But really, the current owner should see those and report those to the management company or the freeholder at the very least, to get the buildings insurance guys to come and have a look at it. If you're buying an older style property, thatched cottage, stuff like that, then yeah, you're going to want at least a home buyers, but if not a full structural survey, which will scare the life out of you, but always worth covering your backside. But mortgage valuations, they're not surveys. They're just going around just to make sure that that property is worth exactly what you're paying for it. So if they do have to repossess you, they know they can get their money back. They're not going to any depth or any detail into any problems with the property that you may have to fork out for in the near future. So definitely don't rely on the mortgage valuation if you've got an older style house or there's some real obvious problems there. But hopefully you've seen that. Gizzy's back. I'm waiting on inquiries from the vendor solicitor, but it seems to be taking over 2 weeks to reply. Is this normal? It's been since January I put the offer forward, over 5 months and I'm waiting. Depends on the questions. Inquiries generally just questions that your solicitor has asked the seller solicitor. Sometimes the seller solicitor can answer those pretty simple with a yes, no, or enclosed or something like that. But if they're asking for bits of paper which they don't have, warranties, guarantees, or something they need to revert back to the seller on their client, which can take a little while to come back. And unfortunately, solicitors are overwhelmed with work at the moment. They've got double the amount of transactions going through at the moment compared to 2019 before COVID, and the same amount of staff, and they're not all working from the office. Some of them are working from home, so it is causing delays. Best advice on that would be is asking your solicitor what questions they've actually raised. Ask yourself, are you actually bothered by those questions, those answers? And then ask your solicitor if those questions are a condition on your mortgage. So if your lender has asked your solicitor to ask these questions, then they're going to need to be answered. But if they haven't, and you're okay with not having those answers, then you can just say, look, I'll take a view on those, Giz, and you're not going to need to worry about them. But one thing you could do if you're buying for an estate agent is give them a call and say, look, my solicitor raised inquiries 2 weeks ago. We haven't heard anything back yet. Can you give the solicitor a call, find out if they've got them and if they are going to be answering anytime soon? Call the agent. That's what we're here for. We want the deal to go through just as much as you. We don't get paid unless the sale completes and you move in and get your keys. So the agent, don't be intimidated by them. Don't be scared to call them. Just because you're not paying them doesn't mean they're not there to help you get the transaction going. So yeah, give the agent a call, give your solicitor a call, do some chasing, rustle some feathers. I mean, the seller might not even know that their solicitor has these questions because they're so busy. Unless somebody actually gives them a prod and says, come on, you've got these questions to answer, get on and do it, they may not be very proactive in getting those answered. So definitely, stick a rocket up your solicitor's arse and the estate agents. They'll then hopefully be able to sort of get things moving a bit quicker. But have you got a mortgage offer out yet, Giz? No, you haven't, have you? You haven't. You just got a new deal, haven't you? What about your searches? Have they come back? Because if the searches haven't come back, there might be more questions which get raised once those searches have come back. So yeah, you might be still some way off, unfortunately. I'm guessing you're buying near Battersby then, are you? Never been there. Never been there. I get a nosebleed when I leave my little hometown. Colchester's probably about as far as I tend to go regularly anyway. What's going on there? Okay. So I also need some ideas for some new videos. So if you have any questions that you want answering in more depth that you can sort of go back on and sort of revisit, then yeah, put some ideas in the comment section, because it's hard thinking. I know lots of things, but you just presume that everybody else knows them as well, but quite clearly people don't. So if there are subjects you want covered in either a live or in a separate video, then please let me know. Please let me know. Great, so your searches have come back. Right, so theoretically then, once these answers to the questions have been sort of sent back to your solicitor, then there shouldn't be too much to get done. So definitely call the agent first. Call the agent. They'll speak to the seller solicitor, find out if they've got the questions. And if they haven't, then they can go to your solicitor and get them to resend them. I had a case on Wednesday where the buyer solicitor had emailed the seller solicitor, but had sent it to the wrong person in that company. So nothing actually happened. And that was 10 days, I think. They were waiting for these replies to questions and they never came. So we put a phone call in, found out they went to the wrong person in the company, got the correct person's contact details, gave it to the buyer solicitor, and boom, they were answered the same day. And I think they might have even exchanged contracts today. I think that's the last thing they were waiting on. So yeah, get in there, get a solicitor agent to do their job. They won't mind chasing. They won't mind chasing. If they're lucky enough, they'll even have a dedicated sales progressor to do it for them. Not in my office. We've got to do everything. Got fingers in many pies in the office. That's why I'm so knowledgeable, because I do it all. Blow my own trumpet a little bit. How long did the searches take to come back? It'll take a while. I know in my town they're about 3 weeks at the moment. I know some councils are taking months to come back, absolute months, which is crazy, absolutely crazy. Has your survey been done, Giz, as well? Yeah, get used to all this still. I'm actually dropping like flies because I'm not talking, but without questions, without subjects to talk about, without interaction, it's hard for me to keep rabbiting on. Sorry, I forgot why I asked you, Giz. I forgot what I said. What's 3 weeks? I took 3 weeks to come back. 3 weeks to come back. That's not too bad. That's not too bad. So you seem to be over a few major hurdles, and survey done as well. Oh, I'm going to have to go, guys. The baby is crying. So I'll see you later. Take care.